no chance.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I thought that was an interesting argument between the two films. And other people, you know, one woman, she saw the movie Aliens first, and then she went back to see the first film, you know, expecting it to be, you know, like the second one. And she was like, wow, this is very different than what the second movie. You know, she's like, this is way slower and it's way scarier. But, you know, both of them work. But she's like, but both of them work for what they are. But she was just at how different, you know, after seeing the second film, you know, going back and seeing the first one, you know, in retrospect like that, it was like, oh, now I see why they're so scared of these things. You know, now I see why Sigourney Weaver didn't want to go back. You know, it didn't make any sense when you see what I'm saying, when she hadn't seen the first film. Oh, what's she so scared of? It's like, then she saw that, it's like, oh, okay, now I know. I wouldn't want to go back either. No way. You know, it's like, I don't care what they're paying me, what they're offering me. No, 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 no. But yeah, but the thing is I thought it was interesting how Cameron took elements, you see what I'm saying, from the first film and weaved them into the second, like the character of Lambert and Hudson. See what I'm saying? Both of them were the panic character in both movies, and both of them made that work. You see what I'm saying? And there are some subtler things that they also weave together in there, like the fact that Yaphet Kotto was wearing a blue headband, you know, as the tough guy in there. But they had a woman wearing a red headband as the tough guy in the sequel. You see what I'm saying? You know, so I liked how the fact that they took the android who's the bad guy in the first Alien film, and then you think he's alluding that he might be the bad guy in the second one too, but he actually turns out to be one of the heroes. So I thought that was clever on Cameron's part, you know, how he went against expectations on that. And I would like your opinion on this. Okay, Siskel and Ebert, they felt that, you know, personally I thought Alien, if I had to list the two best action films of all time, I'd probably give it a tie between Alien and Die Hard. You know, I mean, I think they're both, for action movies, they're...
You mean Aliens versus Die Hard?
Yeah, Aliens.
Okay.
The sequel versus Die Hard. I think I'd just about give it a dead tie between the two films. If I had to choose, you know, maybe depending on my mood, I might choose either one. You know, but I consider, you know, I might go with Aliens. But the thing is people who see these films, you see what I'm saying? They, you know, a lot of them, how should I put it? A lot of them, they just, you know, when you look at a movie like that, Siskel and Ebert said they felt it was too much at the end. You know, it was like 30 minutes too much of action at the end of Aliens. You know, they felt it was overkill. Personally, I didn't feel that when I watched Aliens. I mean, how do you feel about that?
I thought it was very over the top, but it put me in an emotional place of like complete panic and terror that she would plunge back into.
Yeah, to save the little girl. Well, she bonded with the girl. It was like her own daughter, you know. And I thought that was a nice touch.
But I think it was important and crucial for the character of Ripley, for her character
to face her own fear,
yeah,
to
go
back into the pit, into the crucible, so to speak. Yeah, I thought, you know, personally, you know, I saw the director's cut of, you know, the longer version of Aliens, and I saw the studio cut, and I got to tell you, you know, even though a lot of those scenes stand very well on their own, you know, I would have cut them too. You know, I really felt the version I saw in the theater was by far the best version. You know, but it's like you want to see those scenes later in like the video version that you watch later. But you know, I have to say, if I had to choose the two films, you know, watching it, you know, I'd choose the original theatrical cut, the way it was cut. You know, and I would have done it just exactly the same way they did, even though those scenes stand up. A lot of the scenes stand up very well, and I liked them on their own, like the scenes with those big, you know, double-barreled guns firing at the aliens in the tunnels. I mean, that was very dramatic. That was very suspenseful, but it took away from the overall momentum of Ripley's, facing her fears. You know, it was, how should we say, almost a special effects distraction, you know, from that arc. And it's like, as good as it stands on its own, as much as I liked it, it's like, no, 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 I would have cut it too, at least for the theatrical trailer, but, show it later on the, DVD version. But yeah, but who, were there any characters that, particularly stood out for you?
Well, like you mentioned, Hudson.
Oh yeah.
And he gets the classic one-liners, I think.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. It's interesting because Cameron, even though he's falling apart, he still has him die heroically. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And he doesn't really demonize and vilify his character. He just shows him as someone who's suffering from real combat fatigue, but still ends up being a hero at the end. He dies bravely. He dies fighting. Even though he's falling apart and trying to hold himself together. Yeah, I thought he was a great character. I thought Bill Paxton did it well. One of the influences of the movie Aliens is nowadays, it's become to some extent part of our culture. And when someone says the word 17 days, you know what the next response is going to be. Someone says, 17 days? We're not going to last 17 hours. That's the impact of this film, It's not minor, it actually has an impact on our culture, Same way, Monty Python's, it's just a flesh wound. You hear that, you automatically know what the next line is. You know what that is a reference to. Yeah, but Aliens, they're doing this new prequel, and I got to tell you, I just hope they get it right. I really do. Ridley Scott's directing it, but, I just hope, that they get it right because Aliens versus Predator, a lot of this stuff was just, it was crap.
Yeah.
You watch it, it's like, okay, this is your, the decision on this one.
Mm-hmm.
This is your paint by numbers movie of the formula of what we think will work.
I think 3, even though it had David Fincher directing, it just kind of the scope of it, the vision just drops dramatically.
Well, the thing was, it was like, okay, what's where's the beef here? Okay, she's already went back to the Crucible to face her fears. It's like now what? And I don't think they came up with an answer for that. And it's like, okay, we'll just put her on a prison colony with a bunch of crazy religious fanatics. And to me, the movie just, it really just didn't work. And I just thought it was, I think that maybe they needed to have done, what I would have done, if I was going to do a sequel to it, is show like 200 years in the future. Ripley's dead already. All right? And show them capturing these eggs, and they're using it on a military ship. And history repeats itself. One of the egg gets loose. It just turns on the crew, and they can't stop it. And they can't, or a couple of them get loose, and they just can't stop it. And to me, that would have been, you know what I'm saying? The sequel, I think I would have gone for.
I guess maybe 4 gets into that a little bit.
I didn't think so, really. I thought that was more of a Titanic ripoff, where it has the aliens swimming in the water. It's like, okay, they did that in Titanic, now we're doing that. I mean, yeah, to some extent, it's like, okay, the aliens get loose on board the ship. But I'm saying I would have killed off Ripley's character at that point. I would have gone with a military ship, not a ship filled with scientists, And these military men are having to deal with this situation. And, and they basically realize that they're screwed, that they can't stop this thing.